Welcome, lords and ladies, kings and queens, my noble court, to the Cosmic Archive, a living legendarium of a million worlds. I am Lore Master Leonis, curator of this fine establishment, and today I'm going to be reacting to Nightway Fantasy for the first time. I've not seen any of her videos before, his or her, I'm not sure, but the character is a she, so for now I'm gonna say she, and then if I'm wrong, the comments can tell me how terribly I've misgendered this poor man. Recently, within this same recording session, I reacted for the first time to Play Astronomical, and he did a phenomenal job on his song, Shadows, Moving Shadows, I believe. Today, I am looking at near as I could tell looking at the channel, this is the first fully fledged animated music video that Nightway Fantasy made. Prior to this video, I want to make clear, there are two whole albums of songs that the YouTube videos are just either a still image or like a few repeating animations that it clips through. That being said, the songs are really good. Like you should definitely go listen to the songs. They're really, really good. I definitely going to be slotting some of those into my music list because they've got very some of them are a little slower, more somber, but a lot of them have that really harsh techno rock feel to them. I really like them. I'm not sure which one this was going to be because I haven't listened to it yet. This song is called Wolfsbane, and it had a thumbnail of a person looking up with green coming down their face or something like that, so I'm not sure what exactly we're in for. This is a 4-minute and 36-second video, which is longer than Moving Shadows was, but I recorded that for over an hour. So as usual, we will do a minimal react and a maximal react. If you're on YouTube, unfortunately, you will not be getting the minimal react because YouTube likes to keep changing its rules, and presently it has decided that if you watch something without pausing it, that constitutes a violation of copyright, therefore you can't be monetized. I'm trying to avoid having my videos demonetized in the future when I eventually reach a point where I can monetize them. So that's just, I also think it's generally good to just keep in practice with what the rules are, even if you're kind of beneath them at this point, because at some point in the future you won't be, and then so it's better to just have the habit to do it anyway. Hopefully those rules change, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So without further ado, let's begin our minimal react, shall we? Okay, that was certainly something. Damn. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't say a lot during that. There's a lot going on, and I was legitimately just blown away by how good it was. At the very start, I was kind of this seems like it's just going to be some repeating gifs, but then no, they really quickly move beyond that. So man, first thoughts, what sticks out to me is, first of all, Wolfsbane is in fact the name of a poison that was quite often used back in the medieval and Renaissance era. As I understand it, Wolfsbane was not as useful a poison as modern poisons are. So you look at something like cyanide is guaranteed to kill you at a very small amount of it. It's guaranteed your body won't handle it, you'll die. Wolfsbane was something that was not quite so good. It was like a poison flower or something, if I recall. It's similar to some other, Nightshade, for example, is another one that's it's poison, but it requires a lot more of it to be lethal. So sometimes when you poison someone with something that is considered very deadly, like Nightshade or Wolfsbane, they'd survive because you didn't actually give them enough poison for their body to be killed by it, but you probably fucked them up pretty badly. The other things that stick out to me is I kissed the crown of my decay, and there was a line in there about perfection is something for gods alone. It's a myth that's only for gods and demons, and yet here I still kneel, I still bow, which I don't know if it's meant this way, but I definitely feel that chokes a lot of people up when it comes to the creative sphere, because you sit there and you think, oh, my work's not good enough, it's not good enough. I mean, I've been guilty of that from time to time. I'll look at something I made and it's not good enough, it's not good enough. And then, I've had to learn to just tell myself, who cares? Put it out there. Doesn't matter if it's not good enough. They like it or they don't like it, and then you make something else. And eventually at some point you make something that's good enough, whether you think it's good enough or not. So that's kind of the initial sort of pulls my brain took from watching this. But we're going to go ahead and go back into it. I think this one's going to have a lot more emphasis on the lyrics, because those lyrics spoke to me, and I really want to go through and kind of talk about those. I think they're really good. Let's get into the maximal react, shall we? So right off the bat, like the Wolfsbane dripping green liquid is very reminiscent, like in general in fiction. When you see like a dripping green liquid, that tends to have a connotation either with like a healing potion or with poison. And in this case, we're kind of seeing a sickly, not healthy looking green. So usually the sickly green, like the bright slime green or the like pale green, that tends to be associated with poison. We can see out here, out this window, that the place this person lives, there's a lot of rundown houses, so they're probably not living in a particularly nice area. Breathing becomes a threat. I don't know. What is he saying right there? Whispers coil in the dark? Whispers coil in the dark. So in that previous shot with the sort of smoke moving through, I'm not 100% sure what that's going for visually, other than to match like the whispers coiling in the dark. It says breathing becomes a threat. In the real world, I would think of breathing becoming a threat as sort of like when you have volcanic gas leaking out somewhere, but I'm wagering this is more like a psychological sort of depression thing where like you have like an anxiety reaction and you can't breathe. Also, you see with this sort of like green cloud coming out from her, it's like she's breathing out the poison. I like to point out too, when I actually saw the name Wolfsbane, in my head I thought this was going to be Wolfsbane in the sense of like I'm fighting wolves or I'm fighting werewolves or I'm a werewolf and I'm trying to keep myself from turning into a werewolf. And so I thought this whole like opening section was I was thinking that's what this was. No, we were just talking about the poison that is called Wolfsbane, that is a plant that exists that is poisonous. And near as I could tell, she's taking Wolfsbane pills for some reason. I like this like glowing green he or she gives them, because you can immediately tell they're not good for you. Like this looks radioactive. This is not something this person should be ingesting. Now, I imagine this is not the intended meaning behind this, but I identify with this line in a much more literal sense of I live behind my eyelids, a cathedral of alarms. I don't think I suffer in general a form like most forms of anxiety or depression, but I do actually have one form of anxiety that I do feel from time to time, and I believe the name of it is anticipation anxiety. And I've never thought of it as anything particularly like super bad or harmful. It's just that like my body knows when I'm supposed to wake up, and sometimes I'll wake up like 10 minutes before my alarm goes off, and then I'm laying in bed going, do I want to like sit here and try to sleep for another 10 minutes, or do I want to just get up? And so sometimes I'll try to sleep and the alarm will go off, and this is kind of where I'm sitting, is just like I live behind my eyelids in those 10 minutes trying to not be awake. It's like right when you actually do fall asleep, that's when the alarm goes off. Again, I doubt that this has anything to do with what we're talking about here. I just thought I'd point it out. That spoke to me in a way that probably wasn't intended. Every kindness sounds like static. Every shadow bears its arms. Every kindness sounds like static. Every shadow bears its arms. I don't think I've ever had a problem with this, but I know people who like are really, they find it really hard to take kindness. The mirror keeps a ledger inked in venom, cold and thin. I polish ghosts to look like gods, and then I break them. Interesting. I'm mulling over those words. The mirror keeps a ledger inked in venom, cold and thin. I polish ghosts to look like gods, and then I break them. See, I can see the latter portion of that. I think the idea is that in anxiety, you're seeing kind of like you're fighting ghosts. You're seeing and thinking about things that aren't really necessarily there. You're overthinking situations about what's going on around you. Like someone might smile and offer you like a lollipop or something out of genuine, just like, I've got a bag of lollipops and I'm not gonna eat them all. Like, I'm just gonna give them away to people and give people a happy day. And then like you're sitting there in your anxiety, like, why are you giving that to me? Why are you interacting with me? What do you want? And in that sense, you're creating a ghost, and then you let that get so big that you've polished it to look like a god, and you treat it like this thing that actually has weight and power in your life when it shouldn't. And then he says, and then I break them, because at some point in the cycle you realize you can't do this, and you remove this, at least temporarily, and then a new anxiety arises from a new thing you encounter. And I think that's what he's talking about. And the mirror keeps a ledger is just that the mirror witnesses everything you do in front of it, and if what you do is filled with venom, cold, and thin, then the mirror keeps the ledger in a venom, cold, and thin. That's what I imagine that means. I chase a crown of perfect thorns and bleed before I win. The crown of thorns is obviously symbolic of like Christ on the cross giving up his life for the sinners. So I wonder if the idea is that you are so damaging in your anxiety. I don't know if damaging would be the word, but you attack yourself. You're so self-depreciating in your own anxiety that you're chasing this crown of thorns, almost like you are hurting yourself with the idea that you're making life easier on everyone around you. So here he says, Wolfsbane on my tongue, royal poison burning my throat. And that goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Wolfsbane was a poison that was utilized in the medieval and Renaissance eras of our history. And I would not doubt it if there were noble or even royal houses that would use Wolfsbane and consider it a royal poison for them. And maybe at times in history, Wolfsbane was considered a royal poison. I could look that up real quick and see if Wolfsbane was ever considered like a royal poison. Like well known to be, because this is not exactly a subject I study, so I'm generally aware. Ironically, I became aware of this because of an artist YouTuber that wanted to create sort of like humanoid mascots for poisons, and this was just like a drawing prompt she got, and she was like, oh, let me look at that, and she had Wolfsbane was one of the poisons that she drew a mascot for. So she had done a little research on each of them to kind of help her come up with what those would look like. And so let me see, it is also known as monk's hood or aconite. Wolfsbane sounds better. Technically there are 250 species of flowering plants that are considered wolfbane. They're buttercups. Okay, interesting. They are highly toxic. Let me see. So Wolfsbane was a name, let's see, Devil's Helmet, Blue Rocket. I don't see anything here about it being called specifically a royal poison, but I wouldn't doubt if it was utilized as a royal poison in that era. Nonetheless, I don't think it detracts from the words of the song, Wolfsbane on my tongue, royal poison burning in my throat. Because in the song, he's talking about kissing the crown of his decay and bowing towards the concept of perfection, despite knowing full well that it is a myth only fit for deities and devils or something like that.
Kiss the crown of my decay, bloom for me.
See right there, I kiss the crown of my decay, bloom for me. Wolfsbane is a flower, a buttercup specifically. And so that's just reference to it, that Wolfbane is a flower. See, going through this, I feel very much like he's connecting this, I'm not sure which, is connecting this to, like, anxiety. And it seems like this character we're seeing on the screen here is very much like just really anxious all the time, and just seems to not like, they can't sleep well enough. They look at themselves in the mirror and they don't like what they see. They feel like they're falling into this like black abyss and being grabbed by tentacles and stuff and pulled in different directions. This all seems like depictions of just someone who's suffering from a lot of like mental distress and anxiety, and where on top of that she's taking these Wolfsbane pills. That kind of has sort of like I'm taking drugs to deal with my problem vibes to it, but I don't know if that's where Nightwave Fantasy is going with it, but that definitely has sort of pulls from that aesthetic. So I'm not 100% sure what the message on that specifically is, but I do get the general feeling that there's a sense of, in this anxious cacophony that the character is going through, they feel as though they're just welcoming and worshiping their own decay, their own fall. They're not taking care of themselves. They know this isn't good, but they can't stop themselves from doing it. That kind of is getting the feel I'm getting from this.
Hypervigilance patrols my ribs, sentries.
So this was interesting visually. She opens the fridge and has a full fridge. It looks like just plenty of food and stuff. And then when she goes to reach for it, it just poof, isn't there. Like she hallucinated the entire thing. I don't know. I guess the idea is like she has an idea in her head of what it should look like if she was taking care of herself. Like, this is how the fridge should look. I should have taken care to go buy groceries and like stock myself up so I have stuff when I need it. But then she didn't do that because her anxiety didn't let her go outside to do that, I guess. And now she's looking at what her anxiety has created, which is the nothing in her fridge. And then I'm going to go back a second. Hypervigilance patrols my ribs? Does that mean like her heart's beating really fast?
My ribs, sentries in my chest. I rip a trail in the air I breathe, I never get to rest.
Sentries, okay, so hypervigilance patrols my ribs, sentries in my chest. What did it say there? Betrayal in the air I breathe, I never get to rest. Again, this really does sound like anxious ramblings. Like, it's so caught up in her emotions that she views everything within her and around her as working against her.
The romantic begs for galaxies, the judge says I don't belong.
The romantic begs for galaxies, the judge says I don't belong. I like the shot, by the way. This is a very cool. Also, same looking character. It looks like it's like the same character, slightly redesigned to look a little more menacing. And now instead of the purple eyes, we got the green eyes, which is the color of Wolfsbane so far in this video.
I write my name in holy.
And then we see like the actual decay that is happening. We're watching her hand turn into a skeletal one here. What does she say initially? The judge says I don't belong.
I write my name in holy fire, then erase it when it's wrong.
I might honestly be pausing too often on this. I write my name in holy fire and erase it when it's wrong. We're going back to that, like the galaxy, the romantic demands galaxies. The judge says I don't belong. I write my name in magic fire, then erase it when it's wrong. Or holy fire. I write my name in holy fire, then erase it when it's wrong. It sounds like you have an idea of like the romantic ideals of what the world says things are supposed to look like, and you go and feel like you have to make your life look like that, but that's like the prettiest version of someone's life, not the real life they're living right now. So it's not so simple to just go do. I might be reading this one wrong. I'm less confident in my read on this line than some of the previous ones.
Perfection is a myth for God, but I still kneel and pray. Wolfsbane.
So that's what I was saying again before. He says perfection is a myth for gods, but I still kneel and pray. I kind of want to take a second to really say, like, dig into that. He didn't say it's a myth. He said it's a myth for gods. In other words, even gods aren't perfect. Even gods view perfection as a myth. And here I am as mere mortal, still worshiping the perfection in a way of like trying to become perfection, trying to not do anything that isn't perfect. Like, how am I going to do that if even the gods can't be perfect? This is like, that just hits really deep for me. So we see sort of this time we see in these animations the kind of idea of like, this almost looks like an ocular nerve set to me. But we see sort of like before this going into her mouth, right? So like I do not like it when YouTube will not just pull backwards like I want it to. So Wolfsbane on my tongue. This is like a liquid minute. Go into her mouth, and we see this. And this kind of looks like the Wolfbane hitting the veins and going throughout the body. And then we see this. I wonder if these are designed off of actual Wolfsbane leaves. That'd be really cool, actually. And we see like this, her eyes change from purple to green. We see all the vines wrapping around her. Again, we get this idea of being constricted and controlled in your movements. And then here we get another one, which is like you're drowning. And you're not just drowning in water. This is the Wolfsbane liquid again. You're literally drowning in a poison liquid. I see this kind of looks like a flower blooming here. This is kind of different. 3 faces in the wiring of my head. That's an interesting way to word it. Asking which one gets to stay. So 3 faces in the wiring of my head, asking which one gets to stay. We see here like the Wolfsbane is spinning around and around, and we see it like decaying the head. Earlier we kind of saw what looked like a being broke apart into pieces by the Wolfsbane, and now it's doing it to her. Every victory decays in my hands. Every halo feels like a fake. So the first part of that sounds like every time you feel like you accomplish something, it decays in your hands because the anxiety comes back. The anxiety fights back again. I don't know what the 3 people or the 3 faces inside the wiring of her brain necessarily refers to, but I suppose we see these 2 versions of the character, 1 and 2, and we do see like later we'll see like a big Wolfsbane monster. Maybe that's 3. I don't know. What I'm getting here is it's like she says every victory decays in my hands and every halo feels like it's fake. So I'm getting more vibes of like, even when I win, it's not permanent. It falls apart and the same problem comes back over and over again. I can never win permanently. And then every halo feels like a fake because even anyone who comes up and portrays themselves like an angel here to help you might just be a devil in disguise. And I kind of get that. I know a lot of people in content creation, they get that feeling because people will try to get close to them and then use them for their own benefit and betray them. And I've seen that happen to other content creators. I'm not big enough for anyone to do that to me yet, but I'm sure someone will try eventually if I keep growing. I don't know if that's in reference to this person's anxiety necessarily, but it kind of gives me that sort of feeling. Like even those who portray themselves as angels can be devils. This is not the button I wanted. Stay awake. Stay ashamed. Hydra. Stay awake, stay ashamed, stay locked inside the frame. This girl is wearing a shirt that says Hydra. It's interesting because like we could make jokes about the Marvel Hail Hydra thing, but I think this is more coming from that place of chop off one head and 2 more takes its place in the genuine mythological idea of it, where back to every victory turns to ash in my hands or like disintegrates in my hands or whatever. It's back to that same thing. Like you win temporarily by chopping off the head, but then 2 more heads take its place and now it's worse for you. They say I'm safe, I only trust the pain. They say I'm safe, I only trust the pain. That's a really, really bad mental space to be in. But yeah, I can see where this is too, where it's like people are telling you like, hey, it's okay, you're okay, it's going to be all right. You don't have to worry about all this, but you're so wound up in this anxiety about everything that if something isn't hurting you, you do not trust that it's showing you its true intent. This is that Wolfsbane monster I was talking about before. I'm wondering if this is the 3rd face. This says work for me. That might actually be symbolic to, or less symbolic and more direct, where like people in the creative space oftentimes feel like they're owed an artist doing something for them. And sometimes, especially if they got close to you and they ask you, hey, can you do this thing for me? And you're like, no, I'm kind of busy. And then they kind of take this attitude of, well, what the fuck, man? Aren't we friends? Like, why the fuck won't you do this thing for me? And it's really mean and really cruel. I'm not really sure what this imagery is supposed to be. It's like, it's got that feeling of like there's light coming out of the darkness and maybe this person is like rising up beyond their circumstance. But then we see this here. I wonder what the purple is. I really do wonder what the purple is, because so far the green is definitely Wolfsbane and it's emblematic of the poison and the decay. So I wonder if the purple in this case, because normally in fiction, when you use purple, you tend to use purple for like a corruption type thing. Like it's like if something's like corrupting the land, or if you're being corrupted into an evil version of yourself, it's usually like purple is usually a primary color within that animated sort of process. But here it seems more like the purple is like the natural energy of this character's soul, and the green is the corrupting force ruining it. That's interesting, because now we see what looks like them embracing this power, maybe even within a gauntlet or something. But the purple's still very there in the eye. What does this shirt say? Do you have an idea? Can't tell. Can't tell. Oh, I wonder, it looked like it started with A. I wonder if it's the official name of the flower type that Wolfsbane is. And now we see her like holding this and like trying to control this power here. I wonder if the concept here in the animation is that like after an eternity of like fighting with this, she's like containing it and maybe even ejecting it. I don't remember if she removes it from herself at the end. But here we have the purple power again, which if I'm right, and this is the sort of more like the natural energy of her and her own soul, this definitely looks like a powerful resurgent. This is such a cool visual. Like, this is such a great visual of like the Wolfsbane just devouring everything in this sort of soul mind space that they're in. I don't deserve it. Don't let me keep it. I don't deserve it. I'm curious if they're saying I don't deserve having this Wolfsbane in me. I'm not actually that bad a person. Or if they're still playing to the anxiety angle of like, I don't deserve anything good I get, so I shouldn't keep it. Don't let me keep it. We don't really get a definitive answer to what happens for her, huh? She looks like she's back in her bedroom again. The purple is now the main... Okay, yeah, she's back in her bedroom, the normal bedroom. The purple seems to have been the main color there at the end, so maybe it won out. And if I'm right about the purple being like her natural, the color of like her natural soul energy or whatever you want to call that, maybe she brought herself back to herself. She fought the Wolfsbane and she won somehow. I'm not sure, but I like that song did a really great job of just like, it's very in your emotion and less logical. Like it's very, it pulls from you, like it like reaches inside and pulls sort of feelings and ideas to the fore. It does a really great job of that. This was incredibly well done, incredibly well done. The animation was really good. All the like glitchy aberrations and stuff, that like it did a great job of like portraying that concept of just like throwing themselves around, racking their mind, being completely consumed by this anxiety that they're dealing with right now. Like, dude, Nightway, you cooked rocked with this. This was really, really, really good. Like, genuinely, I feel like I really got what you were trying to communicate. I hope I got it right. You know, if you end up watching this, you could tell me if I'm wrong, obviously, if I'm like way off base. I hope I'm not, though. I feel like you did a good job of portraying what you were trying to portray, and that I was able to understand the concepts behind the song pretty well. So I'm excited to see more from you. This was like incredibly good. I would say, like, I feel like this person deserves like sort of a descriptor of what they did really well here. I don't know if this will continue in the future content that I view, but I like to say all the time that LadyWasabi just does an amazing job of painting their heart on the screen. This person did an amazing job of taking the concept of anxiety and then like opening it up so that you could see all the little bits and pieces of how it functions and works and be like, oh my God, that's what anxiety looks like. If you're someone who doesn't have anxiety, I imagine someone who does is just looking at this and like, oh my God, yes, I feel so seen, but I don't have that. So I'm looking at this and like, this is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. This is what you guys like go through. Like, holy shit, I've never felt that way. I can't imagine how I would even react. I'd probably shut completely down. I don't know that I could even handle that. So I don't know. That's my opinion. This song like did a really good job of that. So I definitely think it lives up to the other members of the community, if nothing else. Man, I can see why Hide and Bloop said you're a slept upon artist, because like, yeah, this is definitely something like a lot. So I have said pretty much everything I intend to say. I'm really excited to see more from both from Astro and from Nightway. I'm excited to see more content from them. These guys are really, really good. This kind of like this level of content creation is something I feel like I've been missing in places. I'm like, I'm looking at some other stuff and being like, man, I need something else for when I've got nothing to react to. To be fair, there's so many people to go react to. I'm always so happy to react to someone and find that they just make really good shit, and I need to come back and watch more of it. Like, I haven't even gotten back to TheHolyBall. He made a new one about the Mormon Mafia, and I haven't seen the whole one of that yet, and I really need to like watch through that one too. But yeah, I've pretty much said everything I'm here to say at this point. This was really, really good. So until next time, my curious scholars, bye-bye.